I went to a high school track. There was one close to where I worked, and I could go there every day, and I'd walk for about an hour and do nothing but visualize this grid. So perfectly vertical line running right straight up and down the middle of me, and then the line going side to side, so forming like a cross, and then a line going straight out in front and straight out back, so that's another axis of the cross. And I would hold that, and it began to affect the way I walked, and it made me very stable on my feet, and I felt like I had kind of like a cosmic address. I had a cosmic GPS coordinates. It was a feeling of having a fixed location in the mind of God. And it's quite an extraordinary feeling, because the more I did it, then the more it felt like the world was moving around me and I wasn't moving. And actually, the first time I ever had that experience was while skiing. I was with the team that I was a member of, and we were training one day, and we were coming down a very steep slope with lots of moguls, lots of bumps. It was very difficult skiing. And as I came down, all of a sudden, I experienced this same thing, like I wasn't moving. And the world, the snow and everything else, the trees, they were all moving past me, but I was stationary. It was an epiphany. It was truly a profound spiritual experience. And what that enabled me to do at that point was I could turn my skis anywhere, anytime I wanted to. I didn't have to go between the bumps. I could turn on the side of a bump or on top of a bump or in the trough. It didn't matter. I could turn anywhere because I wasn't moving. And so, of course, the metaphor, that's a metaphor also. So what it's enabled me to do is to be able to navigate through life, through the bumps of life in that way, and not regard events, circumstances as coming at me, right? Like I'm drifting into these circumstances. It's like, no, I'm stationary, and circumstances happen around me. So it's a very interesting perspective, and it gives one enormous amounts of agency. Of course, I'm not perfect at it. I mean, this is a lifelong pursuit to learn how to have to master that kind of perspective. But the real thing that I've found about it is that that's actually the reality. That's what we're actually doing. But because we're so involved in the world, we get caught up in the swirl of it. When in reality, we're always at the eye of the storm. We're always in that calm, still point at the center of everything. And all of this, even the years of our lives, you know, the way we age and go through cycles of growth and development, all of that's like part of the swirl. So that the more you situate yourself at the eye of the storm, you begin to see it as coming and going. And it doesn't really affect you. So you can be healthy, you can be sick, you can be rich, you can be poor, you can be fat, you can be skinny. Doesn't matter. It's just all part of the ins and outs of circumstance. And that gives one an enormous sense of peace, because you're at the center. You're on the merry-go-round, but you're sitting right in the center of it. And so you're not pulled around by the centrifugal forces of life. And the way you get there, what I have found, this is like a culmination of everything I've studied in my life in spiritual terms. This is like it. Is as I go, when I back up into that column of light, I become the center of everything. And It is surprisingly easy to do. You know, remember what Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And what we're talking about, this dimension that we go into when we back up into it, that is the kingdom of heaven. That's non-dual consciousness. So once we go in there, and it's always like right there. It's right there. He said, you don't have to go here. You don't have to go there. You don't have to go anywhere. It's right within you. But if you've got a concept of it and you're always looking for the right answer, the right experience, you know, those kinds of things, then that's going somewhere. You see, that's going here, that's going there. It's not going within. And that's the secret to the whole thing, is to go within. But you can't go in head first. You have to back up into it. It's the only way you can go within. And that's where things like trust and faith, those two words in this context, are identical. You have to be able to trust going into that vastness without fear, knowing that it's there, that it's you. That's you. You can't be afraid of yourself. I mean, you can, but why? It's the most real thing there is. So why be afraid of reality? And Jesus said, you know, you have to be willing to die. You know, he would say, do this unto death. And that means you have to be able to let go of the normal world, the world that you're enmeshed in. You have to be able to sever your ties with that and go within, away from the world of the senses.